Give the floor to a civil society organization, and namely to Mr. Ibrahim Olabi, Guernica 37 Chambers. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the last speaker, I feel an incredible amount of pressure to leave this council with a message of hope, and I will try to do so. Prior to joining Guernica 37 as a lawyer, growing up as a Syrian, I never, ever thought I'll be a witness to the mass historic injustices that I once read about in textbooks. Today, the world still holds a chance to hold perpetrators to account, as we have not yet became long, distant history. We are very much in the present, Mr. President. This present depends on what the world does today. And by world, I mean states. And by states, I mean individuals here with us in this room today. In the past, we may have had the excuse that we did not know about those crimes. But today, we heard over and over about the amount of evidence that is available. The IIIM, the Commission of Inquiry with 1,270 reports, pages, thousands of interviews, and that's just the Commission of Inquiry, let alone the OPCW, the Joint Investigative Mechanism, and the enormous evidence with the IIIM. All the presented evidence demonstrates how the Assad regime is the main, but not only perpetrator of atrocity crimes that you states present here today agreed for them to be crimes. And so when the Assad regime breaches those crimes, it's not a message to us Syrians. It's a message to every member state of that treaty that I can break those laws and I can get away with it. Yet, somehow, through deliberate disinformation tactics, Syria became a war where death is somehow inevitable, as if refugees fled war, not persecution by a brutal regime. Mr. President, Syria is not a war zone. It's a crime scene. And whilst wars may end, crimes linger on. With the crime scene known, the evidence widely available, and perpetrators clearly identified and named, why has this council not acted? We are grateful for some of the countries present here with us today who acted in their individual capacity. Netherlands and Canada using the Torture Convention, which may end up in front of the International Court of Justice, a process which we at Guernica are proud to assist with. Germany and France, with the numerous arrest warrants and cases that we've heard about today. And the UK, with investigation through its Metropolitan Police into high-level individuals and with its Foreign Office looking into collective ways of holding perpetrators to account, individual perpetrators to account for the use of chemical weapons. But why have I only mentioned Western states? Why have I not mentioned the Syrian state, as some member states today have mentioned? Well, with all that evidence, not a single prosecution, Mr. President, in Syria, and continuous vetoes blocking referral to the International Criminal Court. We are grateful to Estonia and all the co-member states for hosting the event here today, and the Council must keep accountability on the table. The Council must not shy away from naming perpetrators, starting with the Syrian regime, but not ending with it. Crimes are not committed by themselves, Mr. President, nor by states in abstracts. They are committed by people, and these people must be held to account. In response to the states that talked about sanctions, 14 Syrian NGOs and victim groups have called upon Assad to end sanctions. Yes, Assad. His crimes attracted sanctions to Syria. And if he would submit to justice and to the UN-agreed political solution, they will end. We call upon Assad's ally to get him to end sanctions on Syria. It has been said that if you torture one person, you may end up in prison. But if you torture hundreds of thousands, use chemical weapons, forcibly displace, you end up in a peace conference. We Syrians will fight to prove this saying wrong and change the course of history. We hope that you will all join us. Thank you, Mr. President.